Hello, welcome to episode 2. A few things I want to just, what should I say, make clear is um, I want to be real. It's really important to me. Um, I'm not some monk that's meditated on top of a mountain or anything like that and for 10 years, come down and super guru, all the rest of it. I'm just a normal human being, living a normal life. Lots of things that I get right, lots of things I get wrong, lots of things I'm not very good at. But the one thing that I am good at is understanding the spiritual truths and understanding the spiritual life, and communication. I think I'm a good communicator. So, but I'm just a human being. I'm as we're going along, we're learning. We're all learning. So there's so much rubbish. I'm not going to say rubbish, but there's a lot of people out there, and they make themselves out to be this and that, and so like amazing, and you're just looking at it, and you think to yourself, my lying meat is going off in my head here. So I want to be real. And I want just to establish that. So if I make mistakes, that's just me being real. That just shows you that I'm just a human being, just being right, just doing the best I can. So on the last video, then I spoke with Jermaine. There's a few sort of guides, and spiritualism call them spiritual guides, which is true. That's what they are. They're spiritual guides. Spiritual guides can be, sometimes they can be physical people. Your dad, your mum, your cousin, your friend, all these people that we meet through our lives, don't we? And you meet them and they teach you certain things, certain aspects of spirituality, even certain aspects of, I think spirituality itself is, if I was to define that, for me, spirituality means using your gifts to improve your own life and the life of others, and the dogs and the cats, the animals, all sorts of animals and plant life, and that, to be of benefit to more than just yourself. There's many people in the world, for example, they're amazing, they earn lots and lots of money, but they're not doing any good. They're just harming. I've met loads of people like that. So to me, like, to be a successful human being, I think that's really important, actually, to make that point. To be a successful human being, what does that mean to be successful? What does that mean? And I liken, I don't know if anybody's ever watched that video with Bruce Lee when he's having that interview, and he talks about how to be authentic, how to express yourself honestly, and he hit the nail right on the head. To express oneself honestly, without any sort of tricks, without any types of any types of trickery or anything like that, any sort of ego, just to be myself, just to be you. I think that's a difficult thing. But in one sense it's difficult, and one sense it's not difficult. Because one sense it's once you get used to it, and once you program your thought habits, to being honest and to act with integrity, sometimes things become really, really easy, and that's what I found it to be. I've been doing it that long now that being honest is just who I am, and people pick up on it. Especially honest people. And really, it's the foundation of any communication, really. Because and I wanted so I'm going to talk about just a subject here, and it's very central, and it's only something I've recently become consciously. I've been aware of it on one level or another as I've been going through my spiritual life, but something it's really pinpointed it this last 4 weeks, and I wanted to talk about something called distortion. There is a frequency of distortion that is only experienced on this earth by human beings. I want to point that out. There's lots of reasons why this is, and I will explain them at a later date, but I just want to bring it into focus. This you might call it a fragmentation, a signal, a disruption signal. And we all have experienced it, and are continue to experience it, and will experience it. We've been experiencing right from day one, from the beginning of our life, this distortion experience. And the problem with it is that our minds are, like, for example, I could be talking now, and unknowingly I could be experience a disturbance. I I'd be experiencing a disruption in my thoughts. This distortion is the word I want to look for. This distortion is constantly there, and nobody's aware of it. Nobody's aware of it, not really. But then I've become consciously aware of it, and as soon as I was consciously aware of it, I found it goes. It's sort of, as you see it, you perceive it, it's gone. And then when you're not watching it, sometimes then it creeps back in. And I actually liken all of the experiences that humanity has experienced, yeah, all of our history, really for me testifies to this distortion. And there's lots of reasons why that. There's a main reason is, and this is something which you could go back in history. This is a history lesson really, because there was a time. That's going to be a long story. This is, but I didn't want to bring it in. I will explain it in the future, and I will go into it in depth why it is. Why that that frequency, that disruptive frequency is experienced by every human being on this planet, So that is, I just wanted to bring it up and and get people to have a look at it, So say for example, one of the things I want to explain, to give an example, I want to give a little bit of a teaching as well about manifestation. So one of the things that I mentioned briefly on a previous video was that I call it the I am presence or the I am activity, but basically anything, because human beings, in truth, within our own very being, within the truth of our being, the very centre of our being, we are divine. Every statement that we make, right, every I statement and every is statement, yeah, manifest directly in reality. So when we come here from the spiritual realm, if you want to call it that, yeah, you've got to use terms, from the spiritual realm, when we come into this matrix, this experience matrix, right? We can manifest anything. Now this distortion frequency is influencing people. So I had a friend recently that said, I'm getting a brilliant job, I'm going to be working with cancer patients and I'm going to be helping them at end of life. And this person was really, really excited. And then another person was like, oh my goodness, I would hate that. I would hate to have a job doing that. Oh, that would be awful. How depressing. And I was thinking to myself, the person that's thinking about all of the depressing stuff and everything, you get it. You get why they're saying it. Of course you do. But they're experiencing, I thought, right there, you're experiencing a distortion and you don't know you're experiencing a distortion. And this is really important. I want you to think every single moment of life is a golden moment. It's an amazing moment. It's a moment of creativity. That's the truth. So, but each moment that exists also is inherently it's nothingness. It has nothing. It contains nothing. So I want to liken each moment is like a vessel, like a cup. Yeah. Now the cup itself is empty. Yeah. It has no value. It is neither this or that. Now then a divine human being comes along and says, that's good. And immediately then it becomes good. Because you're divine. You're creative. What you say in your I am statements and in your is statements becomes. Right? So you imbue it. Right? So you pour that liquid into that cup. And then it becomes it. So when the one person said, oh, that's amazing, I'm going to get this wonderful experience about working with end of life, being able to make a real difference to people. Yeah, she's pouring clarity and perfection into that cup. But then another person comes along and they experience the distortion from, they don't know they're experiencing the distortion, and then they pour that in their cup. Yeah, that distortion, that, oh, I think it'd be really depressing, I think it would be horrible, I couldn't wish for a job that I wouldn't want it, I wouldn't want it for one moment. And so the inherent job itself is nothingness. It doesn't contain any element. It's neutral. But it's then the individual, the sovereign individual, who then makes a statement about it. And then it becomes it. And this happens in so many things in life. I'm not enough. I don't think I could do that. Making videos and explaining about spiritualities. Oh, I don't think people would take me seriously. And so when you say those things, when you say those statements, they become that. They become that. They're fueled by that. And there is a mechanism within all of reality, no matter which realm you are in, that takes place. And there's this accumulation effect. You sow the seed, the apple seed. The apple seed turns into a tree and then produces apples, and then each apple has got like 15 different seeds in there, and then they drop the floor and they multiply. That is, throughout all realities, that is a constant. This accumulation effect. A lot of people, they talk about lots of different things like the law of attraction and blah diddy blah diddy blah. But really, no. Have you ever heard someone say the law of accumulation? And that's exactly it. So imagine if you was, even within your mind, if you think a thought, yeah, and you think that thought is bad, so you imbue that thought. The thought is just an empty cup. It's just an empty vessel. It contains nothing. It is nothing. But then you imbue it. Someone says to you, every thought that you make, affects reality. And then you say in your I am statement, or your is statements, oh, that's true. And then it becomes true, and then it accumulates. And then you get like disruptive thinking, disruptive thought patterns, and then you get distressed, you get anxiety, all these different things. That's just one manifestation of it. And because the law of accumulation affects everything. So if you've got a disruptive thought, that accumulates. And if you have a perfect thought, and you have a loving thought, and you have I am amazing thought, I am, for example, if you use the words, I am the way, I am the life, I am the resurrection. That's really powerful statements, because you say, I am the way, I am the life. Now, life means happiness. That's what life is, joy. That's what life is. Otherwise, you're just existing. If you're experiencing life, then you're feeling joy. Yeah, so you say, I am the life. I am the joy. Yeah, I am the resurrection. So we constantly fall in our life. We rise and we fall. And when we rise, we're living, and then when we fall, we're dying. But not death in terms of a physical death, but inside, spiritual death. And then we become reborn again. Yeah. So I am the way, I am the life, I am the resurrection. Yeah. I resurrect myself. I am the phoenix. Yeah. And that's the beauty. That's why I've called it Phoenix. The Phoenix is a story that's been beginning right from the beginning of this matrix, of this Sophia's matrix that she generated. Sophia is a being, a celestial being that she created it with another being called the I'll call him the unnamed one. Yeah, she and he created this reality. Incidentally, I'm just putting little thought seeds out there. The first two beings that Sophia and the unnamed one created was Kronos. Yeah. And the I forget now what the name is now, but the female, which is energy, time and energy. Yeah, it's those two things began a dance, energy and time. Yeah, and all of the rest of creation then, or not, or the simulation began to generate from those two creations, and then. That's a whole story that I'd love to go into that with you. I'd love to be able to explain it. And it is, to some extent, it is a metaphor, but maybe it's real as well. Who's to decide? And this is another good point. Everybody wants to tell you the truth. Everybody wants to tell you what truth is, but nobody can tell you the truth. You must discern what is true for you. Yeah? Yeah, all we need to do is just read the Bible, and all we got to do is just read the Bible and let the priests tell us what is and what isn't. We don't have to do nothing. It's very easy. You just listen to them, accept it, and get on with it. Except that doesn't work, does it? It doesn't work. That's not life. You have to decide what you want to do. You have to be an active participant in your own life experience. You are the one that's driving the car. You decide. And through your I am statements and is statements, you generate reality. So I hope that, but I want to go back to the beginning. That frequency, it exists, and as soon as you perceive it, it goes away. Keep a disciplined mind and learn to, when someone's speaking to you, I might be speaking to you now, who knows, and I might be picking up that disruptive beam, if you want to call it, that comes into my brain, and it distorts it, but I don't know it distorts it. So, or I might be speaking to you the perfect truth now, and you might be listening and going, oh, I don't like this. And that might be you know, that disruptive beam might be going into your mind, and that's what's colouring your thoughts, you see. So also another point I want to make is, I know there's a lot of people out there, they think their own thoughts great, and sometimes they're haters. Haters always come from below. Yeah, so if you want to hate me or hate my message, feel free, because every time you hate me, you're looking up at me and saying, I want to bring you down, Craig. I want to bring you down. And you can only bring someone down if they're above you. Yeah, so you're acknowledging that I'm here, and you're acknowledging I'm there. Every time you hate, yeah, someone that loves, someone that is compassionate says, go on, Craig, do the best that you can. I hope it's really, really good. I hope you get great benefits, you know. But so that's all I got to say, and I just want to thank you, and thank you for listening. I hope that there's no hope really, because as long as you discipline your mind, you become aware of that the distortion frequency. As long as you become aware of that distortion frequency, then you should be able to say, right, okay, and it should go away, and you should have a clearer thought then, and move forward and allow those positive I am statements and those is statements to transform your life. Remember that your life, you've agreed when you come to this simulation that your experience will be linear. Yeah, so all of your thoughts, all of the things that you've manifested, remember, thought is an empty vessel. It's a tool for creation. Speech is a tool of creation. Action is a tool of creation. Every time you act, you have commitment. Because those who have no commitment, yeah, they never act. Yeah, those who have commitment in who they are, they express themselves in their actions. Yeah, and then get shot down by everybody, because nobody really wants to do that, you know. And if they let other people do it, and then they shoot you down, or they give you the bullets to shoot someone else down. Nobody wants to stand up and be taken seriously. Nobody wants to stand up and say, do you know what, this is where I stand, and this is what I'm doing on this video. I'm saying here, this is this, and I stand here. This is what I am. So I'm solidifying it in one sense, and I'm saying, finally, I'm here, I'm accountable, I will make my actions, and I will do what's right. Yeah, and I will do what's right, and I will continue to do what's right. And I can only look at my own gifts, and look at my gifts and say, you know, I'm going to do the best that I got with my gifts, and move forward and do the best that I can. And I believe, and I want to leave you with a statement as well. I know it's been a long recording, but one of the statements I want to leave you with is this. This is my goal, and it's clear. Yeah, I want to transform the universal experience of suffering that humanity experiences into a universal experience of joy. Yeah, Jermaine come to me, my friends come to me from the spiritual realms, and I communicate with them, and we are of one accord. And would you like to come along? Would you like to join me in transforming reality, transforming our life experience, the species, our species, humanity, to change that frequency from here to here? Yeah, to transform the water into the wine. Do you want to come with me? Should we join together and try? Or you can decide to decide and not to decide, and just carry on your own way if you want to. Yeah, but he is there if you want to. If you want to choose, and listen to this, choose to choose, and choose to be your highest conception. Be this, do this, in all things, and you will come to know the source divine, the everlasting one, the all-knowing one. Yeah, you will come to know him, her. All right, God bless.